What would you do if a custom drum company told you to dream up a drum set and then they literally built it? I just literally broke the freaking glasses off my head. Welcome back to the Drum Dream Stream. Today we're talking about this lovely set of drums in front of me from Franklin Drum Company. So what you see is a 20-inch bass drum, 20 by 12, 12 by 8, 14, 14, and a 14 by 4 snare drum here. The reason I have this is I'm really fortunate to have had some work with the guys at Franklin. Grady Kenevan, who had been with the company previous to the rebrand, reached out to me to talk about what he was going to do to turn Risen drums at the time into Franklin. And so I helped him with everything from what was his shell composition going to be, what was his pricing going to be, what was the badge going to look like. We went through all these different things as the brand was kind of forming. And as a thank you, they reached out and said, hey, let's build you a kit, whatever you want, we're going to make it happen. First things first, let's talk about the looks, the finish, right? Crazy looking. It's based on something that Ludwig did in the 70s. They had a drum series called Standard, the Standard series. Economical, student-level drums, but they had really cool finishes. I think because they were trying to sell them to kids just getting into the game. So, they're almost like cartoony sometimes. And Ludwig recently brought back a similar finish called Lemon Strata. But what I like about the original, the original is just so bold, so much more bold. And that's what we tried to achieve here. We were originally going to try to order the wrap. You have to buy 100 sheets of it from the manufacturer, which is literally like over $10,000. We didn't want to spend $10,000 for one drum kit, not worth it. So Grady and team found a dude who painted this. This is paint. It is not a wrap. And that's what makes this so special. It's like this is the only one just like this, the only kit just like this. The same way that the original Ludwig finishes, whether it's an Oyster or the Strata finishes, have a certain level of complexity to the finish because there's all these colors mixing. So do these drums too. The difference is on these drums, if you look at the paint, under the yellow here, you can still see the grain. So the complexity comes from the wood, which I think is really, really cool. Wonderful drums, and they sound as good as they look. So you might be asking, why these sizes? Well, it's because you can't get them anywhere else. Most drum manufacturers are going to start their kicks off at usually 14-inch depths. Now they're starting to bring back 12-inch depths. My love for 12-inch depth kick drums came from a kit by Ludwig called the New Yorker. I've owned a few of them. I still own one of those drums back here with this kit, Old Moldy, which I'm going to do a video on at some point. But 12-inch depth drums change the entire air column of the drum, or the way that the air moves through that drum when you strike it. It's so punchy, and it also is way easier to use on a stage. Now, there's two bass drums, the 20 and the 16. Why a 16? I really wanted to have a 16-inch bass drum because they're hard to find, and they have that like neo soul thing. I wanted like a Questlove type of tone that you might hear on some of the old D'Angelo records. And then I went with standard depth toms, very, very classic, 12/8, 14/14, because I love those tom sizes. I can do anything I want with them. And then the snare, y'all know I love 14x4 snares. So this was another opportunity to have one of those in my little cabinet of fun stuff. Let's hear these things in a musical context. I think they sound pretty good. And one of the big reasons is bearing edges. I was very, very particular about the bearing edges I wanted. So I love a 45 roundover. Now you're probably thinking, what the heck is that jargon? Think about it like this. The bearing edge is where the head meets the wood, the drum shell. The sharper that edge is, the less contact it's going to have with the wood. So the more of the tone coming out of the drum head that's resonating is from the drum head itself. The more contact that drum head makes with the wood, the shell, with a rounder edge, via a rounder edge, then the more of that tone can come from the wood. You can let the wood resonate much more than it would with a sharp edge. So you're getting a great balance of tone coming from the head and the shell. And when you're paying for really expensive drums, I would think that you would want more of the tone to come from the expensive drums than the less expensive drum heads, So that's what's happening here. That's why these drums are so special. Lacquer finish, so the drums are going to resonate. Nice bearing edges. Grady cuts incredible bearing edges, and they're beautiful here. And cool sizes. I am so happy with this kit. That company makes such incredible products. And metal drums, wood drums, everything in between. They might make you a drum out of a kitchen sink if you ask nice enough. I don't know. But they're awesome. Great people, great drums. Worth every penny. All right, I'm going to play out here with a little bit of other stuff. I hope you have a good week. And food question of the day. If you were going to have a cookie dough ice cream, what is the appropriate proportion of cookie dough to the ice cream? To me, it's like 1-to-1. I want half cookie dough, half ice cream intermingled nicely. I want the ice cream melting a little bit on the little cookie dough goodness. That's what I want in my life, just like I want these drums in my life. All right, guys, I'll catch you next week.